Okay, so this week the team was learning all about Tableau Server and writing blogs every day. So they're going to present 3 of their favorite blogs that they wrote this week. So first up is Natasha.
Hello everyone, I'm Natasha. So this week we were writing blog a day, so we had 5 in total. So before going into my favorite 3, I just show which topics I wrote about this week. So let's go from the last one. So the last one and the Friday one is about productivity tips, about how to do stuff effectively. So this is a bit of I'm going to talk about this later, so now I'm going to go quickly through all of them. So yesterday's blog was about how to make a Tableau Viz look polished. So it's about adding some final touches to any visualization, as I think it's very important and makes it really shows that you put an effort into this. So the Wednesday blog was about command line and Tableau server. So generally just an overview of how to use command line and a quick note about how to schedule a backup there. So this is from this week training on server. So Tuesday topic was about the previous week. So when we had a client's project, so I was a project leader and I was just reflected a bit on this experience and documented it, so I can always go back and compare with the next one.
No pressure.
So and Monday post was also about Tableau Server. It was about content ownership, also a new topic from this week. So yeah, the previous one is not from the week. So yeah, so if I have to choose the 3 favorite ones, so I'll probably go with the Monday one about if you can own a project on the Tableau server. So this was a new topic, and we started our training talking about the server. We talked about just how the server, like the structure of it. So there is different users, groups. So we also installed the server, which was definitely for me a highlight of the day. I think it's like amazing to just not to talk about it, but actually to have like a hands-on experience on how to install, how to add users and all these things. So I really enjoyed that. So then we also looked at different like user groups. Also, we looked at some tasks such as permissions. So I think it's a new one, I'm not sure, but I think this information window is probably the new addition in the new version of Tableau Server. So I think it's quite nice that you have a little reminder about it, about role. So, and at the end, we also looked at different content, like content could be a project, a workbook, or a data source, and each of them had different permissions. So we were also trying to do different things, and I find it quite interesting that for a project, so there is like every content has an owner, and to be a project, like an owner of the project, you have to have administrator rights. So even if you're a team leader or if you're a manager, if you don't have an administrative rights on the server, you actually can't own the project with it. I think it's quite interesting, and I would probably expect as management or team leaders to have these rights, but it's not. And going into yes, so this is when you try to change the owner, it shows that it's only users with administrative rights. And going to Tableau online help file proves this thing that on the side administrator can own the project. So I find it's quite, it's a very, probably a small thing, and it's quite interesting. It's not like very logical for me, but that's how it is. So I decided to write about this. Yeah, that's the first blog. So let's go back. So I'm not going to talk about my second post about server. I also tried to make this posts a bit like on different topics, like some things, for example, like some tips for Tableau or like about experience about servers, so they're not all the same, just with different perspectives. So let's probably look about like on this one. I quite like the featured image. It's quite colorful. So here, I think that so we've been in data school for already 5 weeks, and definitely we saw a lot of different visualizations, good ones, bad ones, medium ones, so really quite a lot. So I think it's really good to look at the variety. And what I personally noticed that like small details, if like you don't pay attention to them, then it really, for me, just shows that it's just not like finished. It doesn't have this finished look, or that it's like person cared about it. So I think that little things like really can make an impression. So first is, of course, tooltips. I think that's from week 1, we've been told about tooltips, and I also love them. I love nicely formatted tooltips. I like color-coded as well. And here I tried to show that, so this is the first one, is the standard one, and then I tried to show, like, even just text formatting can focus your attention on different things. So depending if you want to focus on what country it is or the profit, so even just like a simple thing can like already like change the impression. So I also put a link on different previous blog posts from DS where they describe more advanced techniques. So I also read them. They're quite interesting. That like there is actually a lot of things that you can put into tooltips. So yeah, then it's about colors. So I think it's also been a bit changed where you can input the color. I'm not sure, but I couldn't find it at the beginning, where you need to enter the code for the color. So in colors, so there are some standard palettes in Tableau, and also you can use any other colors. So I think we did a few projects, like a corporate for client project or our charity projects. So if you have some logo corporate colors, it's kind of easy to work with this because you don't need to think about it. You just choose them with like other tool. So this is an example of the piece that I did for this charity project, where you just put a big color from the logo and work with this. So also then I think that's the piece from Mark, which he did a makeover of his application one, and I quite liked it because he added some background images, but he also formatted everything else in line with the background image. So I think it looks very has a very finished look, and it's like non-clashing colors. If it would be just some red or green, that would be definitely not good. Yeah. So we also looked at this color palettes. So I think there is this tool which very good to use for choosing the palettes and so on, or you can go onto Pinterest, and I think this one you can choose just find different color palettes. But what I find with this is that when you choose the color palette, they all show that the color is in the same proportions, so you have the same split between 5 colors usually. And if the color is a bit different, like for example on this third one, if you have like one very standing out color and it's just too little of it or too much on the dashboard, it doesn't really fit in with everything else. So
is this a Pinterest board you have, or do you search and find these?
I just searched. So there is this.
What did you search for? I can't read it.
Yeah, it's Design Seeds, I think. So
okay.
There is a Pinterest board. There is like a website where a person takes a photo and makes a color
Right,
palette
right,
of them.
right, right.
And I really like them because you
Yeah.
can choose like a variety of different
Yeah.
palettes. So
Okay, I'll have to look that up.
yeah,
That's
they're
good.
quite nice. Yeah, so and again, like the well-known trick of floating and non-floating containers. So you either have to float all of them or to tile. So just again, a note to remember. Yes, so, and I think that these things is not something like extra secret something. It's not super like hidden knowledge, but it's easy to do it, and it's always like easy to forget to do this. So I think it's just a little reminder to go through the checklist if you have done everything, because then it's like, for me, it's always like, oh, that looks really nice and finished.
I'd also recommend when you do tooltips is to do them last.
Yeah.
Make that the last thing you do, because you might change your viz. If you do your tooltips kind of in the beginning and then you start adding things in, those won't automatically show up in the tooltip. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so so this is so, and the last, then I won't go into productivity tips, that's enough of tips. So let's talk about our experience. So this was
Oh boy, is this going to turn into a lecture or?
kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read it. So I can do another one if you don't like
That's
this.
okay. Go ahead. Tell
Well,
us. Scroll down to your bullets.
To the bullets.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we had our first client project. I think that it's really, I think it's very kind of very, not rough experience, but right, it was week 4 and straight into the client project. So it was a bit, I would say, very intense, but I enjoyed it. So so, and I just tried to reflect on experience and what worked well, what didn't work well, and also I think we've all discussed this in detail with everyone here. So I just put the comments that I find. I mean, we had all like a very big list of things, like bigger one than this, and I just like decide to focus on things that I find more more relative, more, like that I feel more close to the topic. So it's so what worked well was like daily Scrum sessions that we asked for a feedback, that we also had our deadlines within the week, and that during presentation we asked questions to each other and we had a discussion rather than just presenting. So, and also, I mean, if I'd have to go and do this again, like I would do this differently a bit. I think that like breaking down tasks is very important, and assigning like the deadlines for each task as well, which hopefully is going to be better in the next project, I think. So I also find that for myself, like voicing all expectations explicitly, like I find that I was not doing this as much as I would like to do this, as I assumed that everyone is on the same page, but it was not really. So I think that, like for me, it would be like I would definitely like look at this next time, and also. I think I hadn't shared like my positive feedback enough, so I didn't let everyone know when things were going all right, that like I'm happy with the team and I'm happy with the progress. So I think that's something that I can work on this. But otherwise, I feel that it was a successful project at the end, and we had a good feedback, and so I think that the team was great. So thank you for all of you.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned about yourself last week?
That I'm a dictator.
Goes into territory.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Well,
Thank you.
All right, Philip. No, I'm going to make you presenter.
Do I stand up front still?
Yes. Should have sent you a present request. You keep sending him with the wrong one. Yeah, I see your screen now. Yep, you're good. Okay, so next up is Philip.
Right, this was blog week. So here are the blogs that I've written, with a few stats included. I was quite surprised to find out actually that the word count was fairly similar.
It is,
That
yeah,
wasn't
that's
planned.
interesting.
That was completely coincidental.
That's data.
Exactly. So feel free to use that to make any vids you want. Those blog posts. I've just focused on 2 of them because life's too short, and 3 of them were on Tableau Server. And whilst it's an incredibly useful subject, it's not the most riveting if you're presenting to people. Although I have chosen it here as one of the 2 things I'm going to talk about. So the first of the 2 blog posts that I've kind of put into a presentation is on making a spray chart. So I use the example of the solar system. So hopefully we can all learn something. So you might get some data formatted as such, where you have your origin and your destination, and usually that will be put in the same row. So using Ultrix in our case, we would pivot or transpose, is the name of the tool in Ultrix, to get it in this kind of format, where, as we can see, the row ID has been duplicated, and our header names become a row each. And in this case, in Ultrix, we'd be selecting ID, I think, as a key field, and then these 2 fields, star and planet, would be the ones that would be the data fields that we transpose. So then, and there are many ways of doing this. Benedetta showed me her workflow, and it's completely different to the way I did it, but it's probably at this point which I'd join the X and Y data to an object just to plot it, just for the sake of this example, using the join tool. And so now we just import this into Tableau. We can drag row ID onto detail, and sum of X and sum of Y onto the columns and rows, and we should have 9 points. And if the X and Y are aggregated by sum, then we will get, it will be, so each point will be the sum of the sun and the planet. So this isn't quite what we want. Tableau automatically joins it from left to right, it seems.
That's because you have the mark type as line.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes, and you change the mark type to line, exactly. So you've got a line chart on this, right? So the next, to make it look a bit more like a
Solar system-y?
solar system-y, a hub and spoke diagram, or a wagon wheel chart, or whatever, or a spray chart, whatever you want to call it. We just put some kind of detail on the path, and the detail can be any alphanumeric field, but it will have so where the spokes are joined by row ID, so the Sun and Mercury will both have a row ID of 1, and Venus will have a row ID of 2, as with the Sun, so the Sun's replicated 9 times for each of the planets. I've included dwarf planet Pluto because it's the only one discovered by an American. But so we need some field that can split these up, and star planet will do that. So now, actually, because planet comes before star in the alphabet, the line is actually now drawn from the planet to the star, but it doesn't really matter which direction we do it in.
Right.
So yeah, that's the way of
You're just telling
choosing the
Tableau
path.
how to connect the dots.
Exactly, this is how you dots. Yeah. So dual axis, and then we can hold down Control, drag this across, and then choose a dual axis and make one of our mark type circle, and so then that would form the planets. And then with a bit of jiggly-piggledy, you might need to add size as well, size information, which I've done as well, and then a bit of formatting.
Nice.
So devil's in the detail, as we just heard, and then you can make it look semi-decent. So that's the first one. And now I've created a scenario where I might use tab command in a work environment. I've used the example of creating a football project for work. So this is just an example of how you might use tab command. So say you want to keep track of all the goals scored in your work football team, you might create a project, and feel free, Jonathan, if you want to jump in with where I've made mistakes. I've tried to be quite rigorous with keeping it correct, but I'm sure there's the odd mistake somewhere, but I have double checked to make sure that it's.
That's right.
Yeah, I haven't actually entered these commands, which might have given a good clue to whether they work or not. But I'm pretty sure. I hope they work anyway. So
always testing over.
yes. So we created a project given the name work football team, and then we can also give it that description. And then once we've created that project, we want to put something in it. So we put a data source, a TDE file inside, and this just has all the goals that we scored during the last month. Your mate John becomes aware of this data source and asks for access. So, well, he's not even a user yet. So first we need to create a user, and we use users.csv with just his name inside the file. We set him to the role publisher, and then we add him to the project. I just thought actually there. Oh no, that's right. So I haven't got the dash project, but I think Tableau knows that that's a project, and we'll add him to the. Is that right, John?
No, that's adding your user John to a group called Work Football Team.
Well, that needs to be changed then. That'll be edited in the blog. Stay tuned for updates. Okay. So then John likes the data and he decides to make his own viz now that he's publisher. So he publishes a Tableau workbook called Goals Per Game into the project Work Football Team, and provides
It's a very secure database password.
But then more goals are scored and they're added to the spreadsheet, and then they're added to the TDE. So this is refreshed and updated. But now the manager's found out and he's not happy because he's a rugby fan. So he orders us to delete this. And so first of all, we want to keep some of that. Well, we like the dashboard that John created. So we export that as a PDF and email it to all our colleagues, and then we delete the project. And that's the end of that.
Good one.
Very good.
There we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, and I've written, so these are the 5 blogs that I wrote for this week's blog week. The first and the last one are basically reflections on week 3 and 4 of data school, and the 3 in the middle are about this week, basically about Tableau Server and what we've learned. And they're all kind of related, so I'll just present them kind of as one. And
Okay.
they're a tip about setting up data extracts to refresh. So the main one is this one here, which shows us, as it says, set up data extracts to refresh, and they kind of tie into kind of mini posts further up, which are kind of tangential how to do certain things that are part of setting up the refresh schedule. So I'll walk through those. Open up our Tableau and connect to data as usual. And you want to connect to the very obscure Superstore.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, nobody has. Data set. Drag out our data, and if this is a live connection with lots and lots of data, we can create an extract here. Let Tableau do that. Thinking about it.
Yeah, it's not creating the extract yet, though. It's just loading the data in the preview pane.
Yeah, but a live extract connection. And then when we try and go to sheet 1, it prompts us to save the extract. You can save it, call it whatever you want. I think I've done this before. And then one of the mini posts that was a bit tangential was basically just saying that there are 2 ways to then publish the extract to server, and as there are more than one way to do lots of things in Tableau. And one way is to just right-click on the data source here and click here to publish to server. And the other way is to go up here to the server menu and click on Publish Data Source, and then choose the data source you want to publish. And then you can fill in the details here. And if you, this is the drop-down menu for when you want to refresh the data extract. And as I later found out, actually, even if you don't fill this in, once you publish to server, server actually prompts you. There's another window that pops up that asks you to create a regular refresh if you haven't already done so. And you can still say no, but that's another reminder. And my third blog post, which is mini blog number 2. Let's just go back to this. Was about what if you want to refresh your schedule, but being a bit awkward, the time you want is not on this drop-down list. So you want to create a new time. You can't do that from Tableau Desktop. You need to do that in Server. And the way to do that is you go into your server and you'll see this window. You go into schedules. There's your new schedule there. And then you can set that up, and obviously here are all your options, and you can get it exactly when you want it to refresh. And then once you've done that, saved it, created it here, when you go back into Tableau, that will be set up. Tableau Desktop.
That's how you add a new schedule. Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Awesome.
That's me.
All right. Well done.
everyone, I'm Mark. This is my blogs for this week. Looking at various things, some things on Tableau Server, HTML embedding parameters for loading your visualizations with different criteria. Some things on the various file types that Tableau has, TDE, WBX, TSD, TDS, all those kind of things. And then keeping your Alteryx workflow in order. So I'll just go over a few of these. This one was about embedding parameters. So when you have a HTML web page, you can put some parameters in there to affect the way the visualization is displayed. One of these is around the toolbar at the bottom, where you have to capture the data or show in full screen. You can move that from the bottom to the top, which is quite good. Or you can hide it altogether. You can also do some filtering in there. So you might have the same visualization that you want to put on different web pages. There might be different departmental web pages, like one for finance, one for marketing. You can show the same visualization using the same code, but put a parameter to filter just for that department's data. So that's quite good. And there were some other things around too, so you can also hide tooltips and various other things like that. Next one blog was around the Tableau Server analysis dashboards. So these are really powerful dashboards that are already built into Tableau Server, but by connecting through to the Postgres SQL database, you can actually capture these visualizations, download them, and make some edits. So this one is a customization of the how long does it take for the views to load dashboard that's in Tableau Server. And I actually don't have the previous picture, but this used to have some like box plots on here and some grey bars, and there were some numbers over the top, so it was a bit busy, and there was no colour involved. So basically redesigned this to make it a bit more simple, and broke out the workbook name, which was previously wasn't there, and moved the average load time into a separate column. So it's really powerful, just things that you can do with the pre-built dashboards that come with Server and customize them. And the third one's around Alteryx workflow, which just talking about documentation, the various tools that are in Alteryx to document your workflow as you go. So you've got an annotation tool, which is part of every, or a parameter I suppose, which is part of every tool. And also additionally, you've got these comment boxes, which you can drag into your workflow, resize, you can color those, and then you can put extra comments at the bottom of those comment boxes. So that's it really. Good job.
I will show all my blog posts, so I wrote 5 as well. First one was about tips for better design, so something we've learned before with Caroline V1. Second one was about Tableau Server Q&A for beginners. Third one was about how to create a waffle chart and what waffle chart did I create for Makeover Monday this week. And fourth one was about London Tableau user group, which was on Wednesday, and I published a post on Thursday. And the fifth one, how to prepare for a Tableau certification exam. So in terms of tips for better design, I focused on the grid that Caroline showed us, which is just a blank page separated into 12 squares, and they help just to trigger creative ideas, not to be too intimidated by the blank page. I've already talked about it a few presentations before, and this helped me a lot while creating this infographics, which I've also presented. Second post, Q&A for beginners. that's really basic. What I try to keep in mind when writing my blog post is what kind of questions people might search for. So
It's all about blog traffic.
yeah, actually. So I did this simple visualization of how the server is structured, and also where to click to manage permissions, because I think those 3 dots are quite hidden. They are only appear when you hover over the corner of the project.
Yes. The key to everything.
And the most interesting tip, how to insert a GIF into the project description.
That's pretty funny.
Thank you. How to do a waffle chart in Tableau. So we had a live session for Makeover Monday this Monday, and this was actually my first Makeover Monday submission and also my first waffle chart. I did it with help of Andy's video on his blog, and to my surprise, everyone liked this visualization, so I just decided I will write a blog post about it, and I did screenshots with each step, so I don't think I would demo them, but yeah. One obstacle that I came across creating this visualization was that when I duplicated sheets to have different waffle charts for men and women and different orientation. When I wanted to color women green, men would change into green as well. So I just duplicated the calculation so that each calculation had a different color. I didn't know.
That's because you're using the same, when you change, because you have the same field on the color shelf, or you did before, that will anytime you change the color in one place, it'll change it everywhere else as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So and this is the final list. And then I have some comments. So I had a question about blending the grid for waffle chart with the actual data, because I forgot to mention in my instructions, because I ticked the never show the window again.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't actually included in my instructions, so I answered that this notification can be just ignored. And also this blog post was mentioned on the blog points.
Oh, by Mark. Yeah.
By Mark, yeah, he says
Right there.
definitely worth a read.
Good.
And my Thursday blog post was gallery. So
cool.
I did this to be able to flick through images, because if you just insert images into the post, you have to open each one separately, which is quite painful. But in this way, you can just flick through them, pictures from the event.
Was that Neil stuff this
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And I've introduced the Tableau Tag team and talked about presenters, which was Eva Murray. Sorry. And also there was a battle of tipsters between Lorna and Pablo. So I've included the tip that I like the most from Lorna, and when Pablo sorts his videos, I will also include him there, and I let people know where they can search for meetings in their cities. And I link to my Twitter. It's quite cool, so you can get more followers. And where's my comment? There was a comment there. Yeah, Pablo commented that it's a great post. So that's quite cool. And Sarah also linked the post on the Facebook workplace for London user group, and this was even shared in Seattle.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
And the last post, just to summarize all the tips we've learned from Andy and never mind. Yeah, I did a streak with the image so that it was on the screen. Yeah. So overall,
That'll be really useful because a lot of people don't write tips on taking the exam. Yeah, there's not really enough content out there about how to take the exam, so that's good.
cool. Yeah, so I said at the end of the post that I will edit it once I take the exam.
Yes.
So that's
You can't actually, you have to make sure, because you can't write about questions that are on the exam, but you can write about the experience of the exam.
Yeah, exactly. So blogging actually pays off. So I've doubled my followers on Twitter in the last 28 days, and my tweets had 8,500 impressions, out of which almost 7,000 were in March. So yeah, this is awesome. If you refresh it, yeah. It's the same.
How'd you get the analytics up for your Twitter?
You just go to Twitter
Analytics.twitter.com.
website.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, I've never seen that website. Gotta look at it.
You can check his follow account now.
I think you can put any user in there as well. Any user's name in there at the top. So you see where it has your name in the URL. See if you can put another, see if you can put,
Yeah, because it was
change
BI.
see if you can change where it has your name in the URL.
It's so far from GoToMeeting here.
Oh. Don't worry about it then, it's okay. It's okay.
Let's see. The only one I remember.
0 minus
No,
followers.
I have to
okay.
log in.
That'd be good if it let you see other people's stats. Stalkers. Well done, good job.
Okay.
Everybody's checking now.
Do you see me? Okay.
Yeah.
So, hi, I'm Laura. These are the 5 blogs that I wrote this week. I kind of started off, since I hadn't written blogs in a while, with a week 2 summary of the dashboard that I presented. There, so it was our first Alteryx week. We were transforming, getting data from APIs, transforming that in Alteryx in order to create a Tableau extract. And my API was the New York Times one, which I presented at the end of week 2. Then I did a week 3 summary. You see it being here. We're talking about how Caroline Bevan came in and how, taught us a class on infographics, but a lot of the tips can apply to any type of visualization.
Yeah.
So thinking about your audience, your aim, and your data, sketch everything first and try to keep things simple. And then I just went through the steps of my project that I presented at the end of week 3, which was makeover of my Parkinson's Unity Walk donations page. And I got $250 worth of donations.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
so when I presented this last time, it was at $100, and
Oh,
now I'm
wow,
up to
that's
$250.
Hey,
Or $350,
amazing.
sorry.
Somebody donated.
So I still got a ways to go.
Maybe you'll get a few more after
Maybe.
Yeah.
Show you week 4. I won't go into, this was a very short one, but just talking about how Benedetta came in and we learned about the R tools in Alteryx, and then Luigi showed us the spatial tools, and then our brief little talking about how the client project went without really saying anything about the client project at all, because I was unclear on how much I was allowed to or what to show. So, but just one of the key to success was communication, and our scrums daily, I think, really helped with that. Getting to know where everybody is. Now I can update that with all my new Scrum knowledge that we learned today. The last two are actually tips, so I'm going to show them in Tableau. So one is talking about the custom admin views for Tableau server and how to look at the number of concurrent users on the server, which apparently has a lot to do with if you're worried about your server saturation and whether or not you need to buy another one. This is one of the things that slows your server down, concurrent users. I think the other one is the number of extract refreshes that are going on. So, but what you have to do is if you get the sort of default workbook that Tableau gives you, you start with historical events, and it's joined with a lot of different things, but in order to get the concurrent users, you have to add in a few more tables. So I just went through the process of left joining in users, and then licensing roles and system users.
Yep.
And once you have all of that, then you can come to your sheet and you looking at the hour continuous created at, and do a count of system users, count distinct. And then I did a quick table calculation of moving average, but then I had to go in and edit it to increase it to 24. Default is 2, so use the previous 2 if you don't change anything. And so since I'm looking at hours, I wanted to create an average over the last day.
Okay.
So include 24.
Can you click on your second drop down there where it says average, previous 24, next 0? So how many hours is that giving me?
24.
25.
25.
Because you chose to include current value.
Oh, whoops.
So you want to include the current value and make it 23. Because it's 0 based. So the current hour would be 0, and then you're including 24, so that makes it 25.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back.
Probably not going to change much, but
probably not gonna change much, but it might.
So you're doing a moving average, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
And so
That's a neat way to
didn't
do
really
it.
change that much, but you can see that on our server, even though we have like everybody in the company has a desktop license, so you would think we might have a lot more traffic than normal, but the average, the max number of concurrent users was 7, and the average is 4.
Yeah.
So we're in no danger of overloading anytime soon.
Good.
When I add in a view on the extract refreshes, that might tell a whole different story. But
cool.
I think it's important to consider the number of concurrent users as a ratio of the total number of users. So we have.
So we have 50.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could do just an ad hoc calc divided by 50. That will give you the percentage, right?
Just double click on that field.
Just double it.
Try it.
And then just do divide by 50.
We'll just double it.
Yeah.
14%.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's interesting because Tableau themselves always talk about 10% concurrency.
So we're at 15% or 14.5% peak.
Yeah, but in the real world, I've never seen it more than maybe 3%.
So why is the behavior on our server different? Just the way that we use it, or?
We're a company of Tableau consultants.
Yeah.
We're obviously, all of us are going to be using
on there
the
much
server
more often. Yeah. Okay. So it's just the nature of what we're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So with this new knowledge, what I would do is instead of having an average, I would change the line to the reference line to be the 10% recommended. Tableau recommended saturation, and then you could see how much above and below the line, which would be now be up here. So we are definitely, which makes sense since we are.
So when's that peak? Is that something around December?
Yeah.
December 16th.
Q4. Everyone looking at the sales numbers.
And then it drops off dramatically.
Yeah. That's good.
Christmas.
It's not going there on Christmas Day.
But it's a
I mean, there were people logged
yeah,
into the
yeah.
server, If we went back and looked at it just hour by hour and not a moving average, there's always at least like one person.
This will,
Unless the server's down.
So this will include emails.
Right.
So if someone's scheduled to get an email every hour, their username will be counted here. But I think that's valid because the server's doing work for them.
Right.
To generate something and send it out. So I'd count that as a concurrent user anyway.
Okay.
All right. And then my last tip was a very quick one around documentation. So I looked. I looked at Andy. So Andy famously never documents anything in any of his workbooks. So I downloaded his Workout Wednesday.
Infamously. Yeah.
Week 7 Workout Wednesday because I knew it had a lot of complex calculations and what was going on. So my tips were that there are sort of 3 ways you can document things. There's the caption bar at the bottom, which is hidden by default. So you go into Worksheet and click Show Caption to bring that in. There'll be some default text in there, which is just what you've charted. You can change that to describe what you're doing. The other one is to comment a field. So I'll do it on one that I haven't commented yet. So you would right-click Default Properties, Comment, and you can type in here.
Like your font choice there.
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck is that?
I have no idea, but it's a little different every time. And then when you hover over, that'll pop up. So
It's like a tooltip almost.
It is. It's like a tooltip. So what I used it for in this instance was to show people where they're supposed to drag and drop the dimensions.
Good idea.
So this is label for labels, and like sales. So you can some in rows. But what I liked is because you can. My third tip is when you go into edit, you can actually comment within the edit box.
Right.
But if it's not a calculated field, there's the comment feature is the only way you could be telling people what to do.
Does when you put the comment in like that, does that comment show up when you hover over?
This
so you've
comment?
got yeah. Okay, so it's just a comment within the calculation.
Just you have to open the calculation,
Gotcha.
which if you inherit a workbook from someone else, you're
really
probably
handy.
going to open it up.
Or as Pablo showed on Wednesday, if you do describe on that.
Oh yeah.
On that field.
So if I go to describe, it'll show.
Yeah. What does it show for? So, for example, one of the other ones that you did put a comment on.
I did put a comment.
No, I mean on the dimension label where you have that other
I have a
tooltip
comment
sort
on
of
this
thing.
tool too.
Oh, where does it show the used in x-axis and y-axis? Can you describe that again? Where does it show that? Okay, so it's in the comment at the top there. Okay, so you get kind of both there then. Yeah. Cool. Good.
And that's it.
Nice.
Well done. Good job.
Laura, do you guys know about Control E?
Control E?
Yeah. You do Control E on Tableau.
Whoa.
Sheet description.
I'm going to have to edit all these posts, man.
So that describes everything that's going on the sheet.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
That's incredible.
It's going to be on Tableau Tip Tuesday.
Nah.
No, we're not gonna dive
Too
into
basic. That's probably super handy when you inherit a workbook from somebody.
that. Yeah.
Yes, when someone asks you to document
Yeah.
all your stuff, you just copy and paste all of that onto Word.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because I mean, especially with the client projects where we're doing a week's worth of work and then just handing it over to them,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
that's
have
true.
no idea what our thought process.
We should have
was.
that as a task then in our task
Yeah.
list.
Press Control E. Remember to press Control E at the end.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
Hi everyone, my name's Jeremy. So this week we've been writing blogs about different things and Tableau Server, what we previously learned or what we've experienced during the school. Basically, I put novel time there because basically all my blogs are over 1,000 words, so it's going to take a long time to read.
Way ahead of you. Wonder if his are as consistent as yours though, word-wise.
I don't think so. I've got one like
You can
So-
read them all out to us.
word by word.
Now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. No. So basically, just a quick agenda for the presentation. So just the learning journey of Tableau and UltraX, a beginner's guide to predictive machine learning algorithms, and I've got a cheat sheet for that. Thinking Tableau series, and then obviously interacting with Tableau Server as another blog series from there. So the learning journey of Tableau.
Hey, that was the same image that Victoria had.
That's my image, basically.
He stole it.
So just go to the blog. So pretty much this is.
Here it goes.
So pretty much, I really like the way the community comes around together. So I've just mentioned in my quick introductions what I like about the community online. So it provides an opportunity for a community of practice where you collaborate, you share, you design. You've got agenda design, you can collaborate with other people. And through that, I've really continuously learned and relearned the things that I could improve on. And
Did you draw that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but no. But yeah, so and also it's a community, so you get the best in the world helping out beginners. That's what I really like about the community. So for example, if you ask Andy for feedback on Viz, he will do that through the Makeover Monday hashtag through there. And yeah, that's pretty much that, to be honest. Just going back to the presentation. So a beginner's guide to predictive machine learning algorithms. So the next blog. So a couple of weeks ago we were introduced to predictive machine learning through Benedetta last couple of weeks ago. So week 3 was it on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Week 3. So what is machine learning? It's just basically is a dimension of artificial intelligence where computers essentially learn concepts without being programmed, and then learn on previous which is already developed, or you can even unlearn depending on which ones you choose. And just as a byproduct, it's based on historical data to get the predictions.
Yep.
You basically have 2 methods, classification and regression, based on the problem. So pretty much regression problems, you're basically using a variable we are trying to predict is numerical continuous, or in regression or in classification, the variable we're trying to predict is discrete or categorical. And so pretty much just a kind of overview of the predictive machine algorithms. And
So did you create that cheat sheet?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've got a couple more here.
That's cool.
Yeah, so pretty much talking about the top ones, or artificial neural networks. It's pretty much it's a network of neural networks. Pretty much it's adapted from biology.
Okay.
So they're interconnected. They send a message to each other. They learn the data and then obviously predict the outcome of that of the trained data set. Advantages: can handle really complex data, and they're very accurate. But on the negative side, they're difficult for beginners to understand. And
So you go through that for each tool then?
Yeah.
That's really good. That's handy.
so, but it requires a long time, and that is just a few more examples of
Okay.
base tree-based models and linear-based.
Kind of reminds me almost of like the chart chooser cards.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
So so I just go down through what linear model algorithms
Oh, okay,
are.
great.
So
That's why your blog post is so long. Then.
yeah, so pretty much, yeah. And if you got time to kill on a Sunday morning, it's like reading the Guardian. If you've got time to kill, it's one of those things. But the details in there, if you want to go and
Great, thank you for doing that.
that's
good.
What's on the next agenda? So basically, I just wanted to. So the next one is thinking Tableau series, which I'm hopefully going to blog more about because this is my first week I've written a blog. So hopefully I'm going to develop a little bit more. So hopefully the Thinking Tableau series is just a loose collection of mini series designed to give you an in-depth look into various features of Tableau. So first two articles I've written about are data blending and table calculations, so directional and non-directional table calculations. So just quick introductions. So what is data blending? Just a quick model there, and how and the process within Tableau and how Tableau goes through that process, and how you link fields.
Okay.
And pretty much, I've got the best way I've learned table calculations, directional and non-directional, is based on the slide analogy, which I've borrowed from Jonathan Drumming from the 2014 conference. So basically, it's great for blending measures, pretty much. Going through scaffolding. So basically, this is Tableau master concept he designed in 2014. So it's pretty much using a layered data source to build up a temporary structure for purposes of sketching data onto a trail, and then just go down. And there's just positives. So basically, negatives of using blending in Tableau, and then alternative ways to go through. So using the casing tricks. That's great data there. And then basically just directional, non-directional Tableau calculating introduction. So pretty much what is the function, and basically it's how I think about it is based on two questions. What is the function, why are you using it, and how the function is applied within Tableau. So hopefully that gives you a quick introduction to there.
Yeah, that's good.
So pretty much it's an overview on how table calcs work within
under the covers.
Underneath the hood, I've called it in the workbooks, and it's based on the cache. So that if it's basically in the cache's role, let's consider in understanding the cache's role, let's consider the role in Tableau. So firstly, the cache is not simply that returns the results of the query, but an adjusted return results. So whatever I put in there, can't remember. Which then dictates where even if you do a directional or non-directional table calculation.
And when we learn SQL, we'll actually write table calculations, the equivalent of table calculations in SQL, and that really helped emphasize it, or helped me understand kind of the concept of table calcs and how they work the way they do. So
yeah, it's quick intro, and then hopefully I'll go into a bit more examples, a bit more depth, and then just go into the interacting with Tableau server. It's just the same as a loose collection of mini-series designed to give you an in-depth look into various features of Tableau server. So pretty much that's the architecture of Tableau server, and it's based on 3 levels, so user tier, storage tier, and management tier. I just went into a little bit more depth down below, saying what each tier is, and then I just basically gave all the definitions and explanations of what the functionalities and applications are for each component within the architecture. So yeah, just hopefully
very good.
Gives,
good to read these. And
yeah, so I hope the details in there. It's just you've got time to waste. Pretty much.
So you're going to be a quiz on
time to
Monday.
waste. It's time to learn.
Yeah, no. So yeah, and then just file types. Pretty much they dictate how the environment of Tableau server interacts. So the performance of the Tableau server. So I thought it was just a good way to
go through what all the different file types mean and stuff. Yeah.
So depending on what data files you put onto Tableau server, it really affects the performance. So that's hopefully the way the next blog I'm going to write. So yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I've ever created a TDSX. Have you? Yeah. What would be? Why would you do that?
Well, when you download a data source from server,
Right.
it comes down as a TDSX.
Because it just has the connection information,
So
but it doesn't have the
TDSX
data
is,
in it as well, does it?
Yeah. So
So it's a combination of a TDS and a TDE, basically.
yeah, package them together.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, that's pretty
Cool.
much just quick overview, brief introduction to
Well done.
certain
Cool.
things. All right.
And last up is praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
It's pretty comprehensive.
That's good.
Didn't really much to say.
Hello, I'm Neil. This is my.
Same shirt.
Yeah, I think it is. I haven't changed it. I'm still wearing it.
Same beard.
What's on my mouse? Oh, there we go. So I decided to write about UK geography this week. When I first started using Tableau, people always wanted to know about how to do geography. How do I map things? How do I?
People love maps.
Yeah, they love it, absolutely love it. And I didn't really know, but I always kept getting a lot of people asking me. I understood the concept of the different geography types, but I didn't really know much about it. So it took me quite a while to learn it. So I thought I'd put them on here and share it. When we did Nalidi's class last week, the spatial one, she was talking about like LSOAs, postcodes, and I could see some people in the room were kind of didn't really get what she was talking about. So I thought I would explain them here. So I'm just going to go through a couple of them, which I think are.
Yeah, the whole geography thing here in the UK is out of control.
Oh, it's a mess, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
everyone has to have their own individual geography to do their own little
Basically,
thing.
yeah. Just carry it around with you.
And it's really annoying. Some of them, as I've written in here, some of them are completely independent of all the others, but a lot of them now are starting to be.
Hierarchical.
Yeah, and they can link in. You can actually map from one geography to another. You might have to go to a certain layer to do that, and then you can map up and down. So the first one I was going to look at was postcodes. So postcodes are they're actually really technically brilliant. The structure of them makes it really easy for the Royal Mail to find your house. So if you look at this postcode here, so we've got GU 227QQ. So the first part, the two parts of the letters, is GU, and that dictates the postcode area. So that's a massive postcode area. And then you can add in the 22 part, which narrows that down to a subsection of the GU. Go down to GU 22.7, and that's an even finer area of detail. And then the last layer is the postcode unit, and that's actually the centre of a collection of houses. There might be 8 houses in a street, and they've all got the same postcode, and it's the centroid of that postcode.
So the postman knows he's never too far away from your house then.
Exactly, yeah, and then he can just guess. See, he probably walks those streets every day, so he probably knows exactly where the house is. But so the ability for the Royal Mail to really isolate right down to your house with quite a simple combination of letters and numbers. Postcodes are incredibly easy to remember. A lot easier than phone numbers are to remember. So it was written something earlier on the Royal Mail's website. There's 28 million addressable properties in the UK, and they've summarised that to 1.7 million postcodes. So it's quite an impressive.
So 28 for every one, just less than that.
Yeah. But postcodes are completely independent of all other geography, and they're owned by the Royal Mail. So there's actually no open data source for the boundaries of the postcodes. You can get the postcode unit level, and I've seen some people use the Norroy methodology where you can basically grow from a centroid, you grow a boundary from that, and when it clashes with another one, it stops. It's not really technically correct.
It's not perfect,
Yeah. You can buy them from, or network survey, but it's not very much point. So that's postcode geography. The next one we're going to look at is census geography. So a lot of people talk about LSOAs and MSOAs when they're referring to boundaries, especially if you're working with health organisations. So when we've got a couple of health clients working with in a couple of weeks, they might start talking about LSOAs and MSOAs. So an MSOA is a middle super output area, and an LSOA is a lower super output area. And these are done for census reasons. And so the census have carved basically the whole country.
And do they change every time there's a new census?
No. They do if there's a ward change. If the electoral ward changes slightly, then they will realign the LSOAs and MSOAs to go with them. But yeah, they try and carve them up. So what's to say here? So LSOA is a minimum population of 1,000 and a maximum population of 3,000.
Okay.
If you ever download any information from ONS, it's likely to be broken up by LSOA. That's their kind of standard way of breaking it up. It's kind of tiny little bite-sized pieces of information. It's a really good way of understanding the picture of the country using that sort of detail. And then the last one is administrative geography. So that's where you get county councils, London boroughs. When you vote for your local councillor, you're voting usually for this last level here, which is ward level. So that will be the person who represents.
Is there a hierarchy
your area.
between those?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it starts at county and unitary authority. I said at the top, actually, there's another one which sits just above it, which is new, which is where some of the counties have combined to form like a combined authority.
Okay.
So you get counties and unitary authorities. So it's not just counties, you'll get cities in there. So Birmingham, Portsmouth, Poole are in there as well. Poole isn't even that big, but Bristol, they're all included in that layer. Local authorities. This is where it gets a bit weird. Some local, if you're a county council, you get another layer down. If you're a unitary authority or a city authority, you don't. So you sit at both of those tiers.
Okay.
And then last level down is the wards and the electoral divisions. And that's probably the most relevant for you because that's the kind of the person who is the councillor for that level is the one who kind of influences changes in your immediate area. So if you want to call someone or raise a petition to have something like parking or something like that, that's the kind of level that you need to start at to contact. And that's it.
Very good.
I've put links for all of the shapefiles for all of these boundaries where possible into here. But if you go to ONS Geography Portal, it's a really awesome resource. It loads up. So you've got all the boundaries, apart from postcodes. They have got the postcode units, but not postcode boundaries. For some reason, the NHS have got their own postcode directory, which is weird. But what they do also have are these really handy lookup files. So, for example, if you wanted to map local authority districts to counties, you've got it there. If you want to map lower super output areas towards
So you can put those in your Alteryx workflow. Then
exactly.
join them all up.
Yeah. So if you want to link census geography to administrative, you've got LSOAs to wards, major towns and cities. Loads of really, really handy stuff in there. So that's an amazing resource just in there. It's quite complicated to get your head around, but
That's there.
yeah, again, and if you've got Alteryx doing the work, then you don't need to worry about it too much.
All right, well done.
Cool. That was
Good
my
job.
blogs.
All right. Good week, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.